Mustafa Daramola. So, Mr. Mustafa Daramola, you have the floor, sir. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Okay, you've given it to them. No problem. So beautiful. You're on course. Okay.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, please. Okay, before they go into the slideshow, my name is Mustafa Daramola. I'm from National Bureau of Statistics. Actually, my assignment here today and my mission to this place is just to give the give the message of the Statistician General of the Federation that National Bureau of Statistics, can somebody put this for me? That National Bureau of Statistics is solidly behind the PWD, either the law, that is the legal backing, or the policy document. We are ready. It's okay, you can do that. We are always ready and ever ready to always provide the data that will be needed. Actually, the summary of my presentation is just that for so many years back, since about 2007, National Bureau of Statistics has been collaborating with the Ministry of Women's Affairs, and Social Development to produce data. In fact, in 2010, there was an effort also on children with disability. But I'm not here just to begin to reel out data set of all what happened and the result of the surveys. But the most important thing is to tell the audience and the ministry that National Bureau of Statistics is now fully ready to provide data that will be needed, either the administrative data sets or most essentially the surveys, which is very, very paramount, so that we can get the baseline data for forward moving of this particular project. So I bring the salutation of my Statistician General. I bring the salutation of my Statistician General. So let me just go through the presentation. If you look at the outline of the presentation, I'm just going to show you some brief function of National Bureau of Statistics, then the overview of the disability statistics, definition, current statistics on disability in MBS, challenges about the surveys, and the other system of administrative statistics, then the way forward, the conclusion, and the recommendation. To the next line, please. Thank you very much. Now, about the NBS, just as I've said, we all know that we have a law that established us. We call it the Statistics Act of 2007. It is this law, just as I had during the discussion, that the persons with disability needed a legal backing. Everything that one is doing in life, not only in Nigeria, must have a very strong legal backing so that you will not only back, you will be able to bite also. So the same thing is applicable to National Bureau of Statistics. We produce social and economic statistics and demographic statistics for the nation, for the inhabitant. Then we coordinate all the statistical production of the national statistic producing agencies in Nigeria, either at the federal level or at the state level, or even at the local government, because you will know that statistics is on the concurrent list of Federation of Nigeria. So every arm of government has the right to produce statistics. But what is good in it is that the federal government, that is the national government, has now agreed and back it with, just as you said, with a policy that any data that is going to be used, even by the international community, the National Bureau of Statistics must just approve of it. So, and that is why we are now here to tell you that all other efforts, even if there are some challenges in the past, which I'm going to mention, we must make sure that even the international community, they know all these things. Like some of the figures that were reeled out the other time, most of these figures were actually extracted from National Bureau of Statistics, though they may put some cosmetic to it, either the WordEx or any other international agencies. So, but the only area I'm going to just to mention much is the issue of our strength, so that whatever we come up later as the statistics for either to study the trend, to monitor the trend and to evaluate all the impact, the impact of the donor agencies or the Nigerian government, that you people should be ready and accept it as what is exactly the situation. Now, we 2 or 3 modalities we use in carrying out our data production is through census, through surveys, and through the system of administrative statistics. And we process this data, that is, we embark on these processes either through our household or through our establishment and institutions or through our system of administrative statistics. That is the data collected by administrative record of work. That is either Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and so on and so forth. But the good thing about it is that MBS has network of field staff in all the federation, just as the state agencies equally have offices in all the states of the federation. So conducting survey, even conducting census, is not a problem for us. Because if you look at the data needed for PWD, you discover that there must be a very robust sample design so that you will be able to get to analyze the data and get a very strong and accurate figure at the end of the survey. And this is one of the challenges that we got during the 2008 and even 2010 exercise. Now, the 2010 exercise had a bigger problem because it was during the insecurity challenges in the country. And we started the survey, but the problem, especially in the northern part of the country, could not allow them to get a reasonable result from the survey. So I'm not going to bog you down with all these data sets, but just to tell you, to go straight to the challenges which I've mentioned. I've told you that there is inadequate sample size for the one or two efforts that we have made with the ministry in the past. So if we are going to embark on a new one, we must make sure that we have some funding, either from the donor partner, to have a sizable, a robust sample size, so that when we want to disaggregate either into gender or into education, health, even at the state level, we will be, even at the ministerial level, we'll be able to get a very robust figure. Then the other one, there was no georeferencing, the instrument to be able to even, at the end of the day, do the mapping of the results that we are going to get. So all these things must be taken into consideration. And I've talked about the issue of insecurity. So then another very strong point is the issue of fund. If we want to conduct any survey, any national survey that is going to be credible and reliable, the government and the development partner must be ready to spend some money. So the way forward in addressing all these things is that the National Bureau of Statistics should be supported to conduct both the periodic survey, but there must be a baseline, a very robust baseline study on this PWD in the country. Then we will equally, there must be harmonization of templates. Some figures are just being bandied by either Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs, or the other MDAs that are relevant to these things. We must be ready to harmonize and be specific to the demands of the sector. Now, then we all know the usefulness of all these data sets, so I'm not going to begin to list the usefulness for people. We all know that, just as my brother here was reeling out, the doctor that spoke the other time, he was trying to quote advanced country and all these things. We have a lot of challenges in Nigeria. It's not only that the ministry or the agency that is saddled with the responsibility of producing data, it's not that they are not qualified and they are not ready to bring out the data, but because we are in a developing world, most of the things that we needed to even have access to are not there in the first place. The issue of this national identity card, the issue of vital statistics, like in abroad I mentioned, as a child is born, it's been documented. If a person dies, there's a report, there's record of it. Unlike in Nigeria here, where some people came into the world, they are not even noticed, and even when they die, there's no record for it. So so this is everybody's affair. It's not only National Bureau of Statistics. So most of those figures he was reeling, it was just at their home pressing that they get most of this information because they have an organized system of administrative statistics. But I believe one day we will get there, and that is the effort of the National Bureau of Statistics. Thank you very much.
Can we give Mr. Mustafa Daramullah a round of applause once again? The next agenda is questions and answers. If there are questions and answers, you raise up your hand and you'll be given a number. Just a minute.
I heard something very interesting over tea break, and I think we need some good news, you know, some good things to cheer us up, to lift our spirits, and to learn from. So somebody has a success story from Nasarawa State that he wants to share with us, very briefly. It's about the work that is going on with persons with disability in Nasarawa State. So we'll just give him short time to speak.
Thank you so much for that opportunity. Before then, I want to say that I'm truly educated today in this meeting. In Nasarawa State, I want to share with you that a Disability Rights Commission law has been passed into law, and it has been assented to by His Excellency. I'm the Executive Secretary, Nasarawa State Rehabilitation Board, and the administrator of special school. Right now, the comprehensive special in Nasarawa State that holds all the area of disability. Let me mention the deaf, the blind, the mentally retarded, autism, and the crippled. In fact, up to about 1,000 are schooling right now in the special school. Out of the 60 academic and non-academic staff that we have, 40 are disabled. So I think this is a step forward, and I want to solicit my other neighbors to follow suit. You need to go and see the comprehensive school. Dr. Balogun, please, you will be invited to Nasarawa State to share more scope that you have, because I've learned a lot from you today. I have developed also an instrument which I want to share later with you, so that we have a comprehensive demographic instrument for us to collect data. I think we need to harmonize that so that all of us will have a uniform instrument that will collect data, so that we don't have variations. Well, this one will have a different scope, this one will have the other scope, maybe in collaboration with the NBS. That will be of a very serious use to us. Thank you so much.
Alhaji Usman, Jubrin, yeah. I think that is very good news. That's beautiful coming from Nasarawa State. I just gave please, I gave him that special permission because he wanted to see something really positive. What, by way of process, we're going to now listen to the consultant. Let's listen to her presentation, the next presentation, then we open the floor again for discussions. So please, that's how we'll go, so that we can move forward quickly, rapidly, and we'll cover everything that we want to cover today. Yes?
Good afternoon once again. I think this session is just taking us towards the close of our discussions, and it's just a feedback on all the inputs we have made into what we want to see in the new policy document. As we have agreed that we need the policy guidance and as well as the legislation and so many other working tools, including our monitoring and evaluation system that Nasarawa is already started something piloting and that we need to key into. So these are some of the summary we got from the consultations we had with the disability community earlier in the week, and some other feedback we got and some of the input we made here today. So we said the policy should be strictly guided by human rights model and approach, which has encapsulated all other models and appropriately used them. We said we should add young people to a session on targeted groups. So we're going to have 5 targeted groups of women with disabilities, children with disability, old people with disability, and persons living in rural areas, and young persons with disability. We said there should be a plan for the multi-sectorial implementation and a structure for the policy to be implemented, which should also include specific budget lines in MDAs to ensure their programs are gender human rights responsive. And it's very important because we know we have some MDAs that are working already, that are even putting materials in Braille form, and this might be additional cost. Not necessarily additional cost, it could be resources from their regular budget to say whatever we are doing, we will give some considerations to disability-related matters. We said the policy should include, as part of the disability clusters, those with psychosocial impairments and albinism. We also said issues around sexual and gender-based violence should be expounded. It's actually under women with disabilities, but we should actually expand it and probably bring it to cross-cutting issues. So we look at how that will come out strongly in the document. We also said we should position the policy document within the SDG goals and let it also talk about the goals that we will be keying into in achieving development for the country and globally. We also said a section should include status reports of the disability response in the country. We had a number of studies and reviews that were done on the formal rehabilitation policy and some of the interventions we have in the country. We put some, and then the country report submitted to the UN system to put it as a kind of background to where we are in the country from where we are moving. We also said the report, a lot of the input we had are actually around implementation of the policy. And these include a number of them, like I said, a multi-sectorial approach of all stakeholders in implementation of the policy. Disability issues in humanitarian settings should be properly expounded and see what is happening there and how it is integrated. The passage of the bill into an act. Actually, there's a section on page 21, 22 that talks about the legislation. There's a comment on the decree, which we are going to look into and review, and also the strategies there. I think 2 or 3 of them actually talked about the processes that we need to engage with all stakeholders in ensuring the legislation is, the bill at the national level is signed as to an act, and that the states that have the laws are supported for proper implementation. There's also the point that disability should be mainstreamed in all sectorial policy documents, and I think that's already there, but we look at it again, where you have intergovernmental coordination. it's actually mentioned there, but we look at positioning some of the issues we raised around that. We also said in the implementation of the policy, issues around data gaps in the national population census should be addressed, and we should ensure disability disaggregated data management. And we already have some examples that we're going to move on with. And that is also under, I think there's something on data management on research, which has already highlighted this. It is how those would play out, and all relevant stakeholders will be brought on board to ensure that we are progressing. Then there should be some conduct of comparative analysis and studies and evidence-based research to inform policy on disability, and if possible, there should be institutes of disability and research centers at federal and subnational level. Actually, there is a role for stakeholders, research institutes, and the academia. I think those are some of the issues we can take up with institutions in